This week, we are going to be focusing at everyone's favorite project, the $1 million pool. We are pouring some awesome concrete steps that will attach right to the supercar garage. I'm gonna get into the details of that because they are pretty tricky. And then we're gonna spend a little time with Professor Buchanan. He's gonna go over one of our biggest structural steel packages ever, and that's slated up next. So these aren't just any regular stairs. As you can tell, look at this formwork. It is quite intricate, and if you pay close attention, you'll see that these stairs border the supercar garage on one side. Then we built this CMU wall right next to the supercar garage that will act as an anchor point so the stairs can snake around this area. We're doweling in to the supercar garage and we're doweling into that CMU block wall. And then what we have to do is use wooden forms to make up each part of what's called that riser. The riser is the part that goes up on the stair, this portion, and then the top part that you step on is called the tread. So the treads are all concrete. The risers are all concrete, right? So we basically just form up that front portion of the stair. But all of this is very tricky because stairs are very, very exact. They have a code on them. For instance, each riser can be no greater than 7 3/4 inches tall. But it's not just the riser that we're worried about. We have a stone material that goes on top of these stairs, right? So we need to take into account every single piece of stone that goes on there, the riser heights, then we have tread depths. All of these things are going to be very heavily scrutinized, and this is like a matter of public safety. It's like if these are built wrong and someone gets hurt on it, we have liability. So stairs are always really tricky. When we're building them out of wood, the margin for error is not very high because we can go back and we can cut that wood out, we can reframe it, no problem. Here, once these stairs are poured, it is going to be a huge pain in the ass. This is nearly 3 trucks, so 30 yards of concrete just for this stair section. Similarly to when we pour our regular slabs on grade, we start with the deepest areas first, those grade beams. And here, there's a series of deeper areas which make up the footers that are gonna hold all the way to those stairs. So what the guys are doing is they're filling up those deep areas first. You always wanna go from the bottom up, right? Then you see the guys kind of filling up each area. They're gonna fill up the lower portion, and then it's gonna cascade over the top. They're gonna scrape it off, and they're just gonna keep moving down. They're gonna start from the top and move down to the bottom. So now that the stairs are largely poured, we're gonna move back to this retaining wall. Remember, we are retaining all of this earth behind us. We had to excavate all of that out. So we have quite a big retaining wall going in right at the first stair landing, and the guys fill that all the way up. Now, get a load of this rendering because this is why it's also really important. If you look, this makes up the new entry of the home. This is all an addition. So over the supercar garage is going to be the second story, and that's where you're gonna enter into the home. But if you look, that whole area is cantilevered. It's like 15 feet that it's gonna hang off in front of the supercar garage. So all of this stuff, the stairs, the supercar garage itself, that CMU wall, they are going to be supports for when we put in our structural steel and we're able to hang that building off. And I think it looks awesome because you have this kind of blocky, monolithic, almost structural cube that's cantilevered for the entry. And that balances the big block of stone for the pool. And I know, guys, everyone's like, oh, this thing is so ugly. Just wait till we start cladding this in our stone. We have a lot of different smooth stone, some rough stones, so many different materials. And up next, we are going to be doing one of our biggest structural steel packages ever. Now, let's kick it over to Professor Buchanan, and he's gonna give you guys some insights on the structural steel package to come. Okay, before Professor Buchanan gets into the structural steel package, let's have a word from our sponsor, Ends. Ends me, Derek. Woo! Let's talk about some new flavors. We got strawberry kiwi and the highly anticipated coffee. And let me tell you, both of these are fan favorites. 50 milligrams of caffeine per pouch. No nicotine, no garbage. Not only are you getting the 50 milligrams of caffeine per pouch, but remember, you are also getting the nootropics. You are getting L-theanine, L-tyrosine, and alpha GPC. All the energy without the fluff. Head on over to nzepouches.com, put in promo code JGB at checkout, and you'll get 15% off.
Yeah, so we're at the front garage of the house right now. We have some existing steel as well as this existing second floor framing. But really, before we start any of our steel, the whole second floor framing, all the roof is gonna come off. So all the steel, this whole wall, all the roof, everything is gonna come out and gonna give us basically like a blank canvas for our steel to sit on. Now, the first pieces of steel that we'll actually have in the house are these large, what we call W18s, or like an I-beam, that span over our garage openings just like you see right here. But the reason why we have to install new ones and upsize them is that we're actually gonna get columns similar to this that go all the way up to the ceiling, but those columns are gonna be much larger to carry these big overhanging kind of like second floor patios and things like that. So yes, we do have some existing steel framing here. When we talk about the design of the new home, this steel won't work for that. So all this steel, all this wood, gonna come out. In place, larger, newer members. We'll also have some steel coming out of our supercar garage here. And the reason why we have to have steel there is we'll have 2 columns inside the garage with a large beam cantilevering or extending over into this area, because we actually kind of get like a covered entry here. That way you can come in and out of your cars or walk between your driveway and not get wet. It also serves as our main kind of like entrance to our house. We have our stairs up now. We displaced those last week. So you'll walk up your stairs in kind of this like cantilevered area, connecting this beam back to this beam with some framing. So 2 columns and a beam. We'll get 1 massive beam all the way through this with a couple different columns, and then stacked on top of that is even more columns to support the framing above. So yeah, a lot of framing up here at the garage and both garages, I guess, and then talking about our deck framing. But as we're moving back into the house, we do have some existing steel framing in one of our bedroom/bathrooms, as well as within our garage. So nice new home with a big garage. We don't want a wall in the middle of our garage here. So what we're actually gonna do is this wall, which is supporting our trusses above, needs to come out. So we're gonna end up installing a new column right here, a larger 5x5 instead of a 3x3. And we're gonna have a W18 or an 18-inch deep I-beam running from this column all the way to the front of the garage, connecting to our other beams to allow for this to be one big open room instead of having it split up in 2 different areas. Kind of some weird details on how we'll have to like notch around our existing framing while still keeping our trusses maintained. Kind of a cool detail, but that's a pretty large I-beam. Out of the garage, we do have some like ancillary framing here for this corner. This corner here right now, we're in like an old washroom, laundry, dryer, utility room, which is what it will be in the next house, but we're gonna grow it. So right now, this column is in the middle of our room. Our room actually gets pushed out about 6 feet this way. So we'll have a new column, 6 feet over. This column will come out, and then the I-beam above us here will be replaced with a larger I-beam for the correct span. People ask, like, why do you need a certain size I-beam? There's really 2 things that impact that. One is your span, or how long it is from your column to your column. And then the other one is the weight of the load on top of it. So the longer the span, the larger a member to kind of have like a thickness to it, as well as like the depth of the beam will kind of allow more pressure to be put down on it. And then also whatever materials we have loading on top of it. So this beam is much smaller. Looks like this is about a 9 or 10-inch beam versus the 20-inch beam that we'll have in the garage, because it's holding up all those columns for the second floor. That's kind of a weird, funky area. Not much going on there. As we come to the back of the house here, this is where the majority of the steel framing gets wild. And the reason is we have this lower level game room, golf simulator room. We also have a floating deck above us here. So we have our pool, we have our master suite over here, but this entire area upstairs is gonna be this like floating deck that connects back into our pool. And it's all steel framing with some big cantilever beams. So what that looks like in reality is we'll have a column here, we'll have a column in that corner with a large W18 beam connecting the two columns, as well as another system of 3 columns within this room. They'll be packed into our wall so you won't see the columns, but we'll have a column here and 2 on that end with another beam here. That way we can connect our 2 beams with our wood framing here. But that's just for the floor. Now we have to take it up for the ceiling above it as well. So we'll have columns stacked on top of those beams on both sides so you can have this beautiful like overhang for your patio, giving you a bunch of shade in the Texas summer. And then all of that has to connect back into our wood framing here. We'll have some details where we have like our beams packed out with wood, which is essentially just taking like an I-beam, filling it in with wood, and then connecting our joists and truss onto that. And that's the lower level. This area is where we have like a lot of the steel. We do have some more columns in the back upper corner. We've got 7 or 8 columns over there that are holding some high roof framing. It's like their gym / workout room, and we wanted to keep the ceilings extra high. So we're using some columns there, some steel columns instead of wood framing to kind of like create this grand vault in that room. Yeah, lots of different pieces here. The shop drawings really kind of helps make it realistic without getting in, just like coming out on site and be like, yeah, I brought the steel that you told me to bring, let's put it in. But the shop drawings really make it like a true plan on how we're gonna execute this thing. Today's meeting was about getting the details hashed out to make sure that the plans are correct. And then once the plans are correct, we can come out here and start talking about how are we gonna get the material in place? What comes first? Are you going to use, forklifts and cranes, or are you gonna use material hoists? Just kind of like staging materials. So, gotta crawl before we walk, before we run. And right now we're in the walking phase. We're getting ready to go, but just really honing on the details and it'll turn out well. Really stoked to get this going. I love my job.